This is Jason Samuel Smith here at the Kiner Hour. Let's talk dance with ASHANI MFUKO. Check it.
Before the break, you gave us one tip on how dancers and choreographers need to approach the whole PR situation, and that was hello, hire a professional, number one. And if you were just talking about this over the break with Peg also, you know, maybe you don't have the money. That's the the reality is maybe you don't have the money, but the reality also is that when you really want something, when something is important to you, you invest and you make the money and you make time for it and you figure out a way to make it happen, basically. Absolutely. So if you need to take on a little extra side job to make some extra cash to pay for a PR professional, do that. If you need to save some money for 6 months, do that.
Yeah, and you have to remember, I mean, you know, your publicist is there to take care of you. You know, like they have your best interests at mind. They are going to help you make sure that your artistic vision is what gets across to your audience. You know, and so you got to work with them, you know, and they're going to get you. They're going to get exactly what you want, and they're going to make it happen for you.
When you hire the right person.
Absolutely, exactly. When you're working with somebody who really has that, you know, and on top of that, like the minute that you think that they don't, just remind them and say, hey, you know, like, I don't know that they're getting it. And you have to understand as well that it doesn't matter how great that message comes across and that you work and you have it written, the press are still going to take what they're going to take.
Absolutely.
You know, and you also need to take that to heart as well. You know, what the press say about you, if that's what they're saying about you, you need to recognize if that's not hitting the mark, you got to change something in the way that you're presenting your materials as well as the way you're presenting your work. You know, so you really, you know, I mean, I know there's lots of discussions about what's being said and a lot of the negative things being said about the arts right now. But either way, you know, there's something in there and you need to listen a little bit to it and make sure that you're also listening to people, not just press as well, you know, and that you're getting them to give you feedback on exactly how your work is being, you know, seen. Right.
And you need to make sure you have a clear message, right? Because maybe your message isn't what you think is your message isn't quite coming across.
And we're really stubborn, you know. I mean, I was a dancer, you know, and my degree in college was dance. And the first press release I wrote, my boss at the time like crumpled it up and threw it on the floor because he thought it was so bad.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, it's taken me a long time to learn how to write a really good press release, you know. And so even back to right before we went to break, you know, like I've seen some really bad press releases in this industry, and they're not getting all the messages in there, and they're not getting the right content, and sometimes they're throwing in you know, really big files with it, and it's crashing presses inboxes, and they don't like those things, you know.
I guess not.
Yeah, they don't like those. Lee Weichel, who's with the New York Post, he actually recently posted a whole to-do, like, this is what your press release needs to have, because he's sick of it, you know. And you have to realize that these people are getting that. You know, I did technology PR for 5.5 years, and some of the things that I see come across in the dance industry, oh my goodness, it would not fly in any other industry. And
really?
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes we get a little bit too focused on this artistic vision. We forget that we still need to have a little bit of business know-how, and you know, that's the way the press speak, and so we need to be
their
able
language.
to exactly. You got to speak their language, just the way you got to speak investors' language. I'm sure Peg's going to talk a lot about you got to speak in, you know, sponsors' language. You need to understand that, and so it's really important to do some due diligence and make sure that you're really focused on that, you know, and into the investment. You know, it's just like a business plan. If you're going to write a business plan, you always have a marketing section of that business plan.
Yes, you do.
And in this industry, I've definitely seen that not enough people put enough emphasis on their marketing dollars. You know, they shortchange it. They don't ask for marketing grants. They're not pushing enough. And there's also not enough marketing grants out there, you know, which is also a disservice to artists and to the dance community. There definitely needs to be more funders out there that are giving those dollars for marketing, because it really is so important. You know, it's all about exposure, exposure, exposure. And if you're creating work and it's not getting seen, then, you know, what's the point of creating the work and you're not going to get to that next step, you know? And so whatever those business goals are for you, whatever those artistic goals are for you, if you really want to be a mainstream, you know, dance company, if you want to become the New York City Ballets and the Alias of the world, you know, you got to look at what they've done, and they've done it. You know,
they have done it for a long time.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into marketing and PR. That is not somewhere where they're shortchanging.
So we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with more of Amber Henry. And don't forget, Peg is coming on. We're going to talk about dance sponsorships. So stay tuned.
What up, y'all? It's your girl, Sweet Bug. I need you to be right here. It's the Kiner Hour.